So we've got a nice cock crab here. You can tell it's cock crab just by looking underneath and the shape of this. So it's pointy, thin, it's the easiest way, and the claws are bigger. So pretty much, we'll start with looking at it. You can turn it over very simply. You're going to place your fingers underneath the back, so you're just going to pop forward. As soon as you hear a crunch, you know you're good. You cracked it. So you've got the top, you've got the body. So we want to take out all of these dead man's fingers, because you don't need them. They're all around here, the gills of the crab. So first we'll take all of them off. Most important that we get them out of the way. Put them straight in the bin. Right. So we're going to take every leg off. So literally just pull it forward, take it off, every single one. Just like that. And then it's exactly the same with claws. Pull back, pull off. Pull back, pull off. So we've got it all broken down. That's our parts. So that's our crab. Now we're going to start to pick the meat essentially. So the ground meat is all in the shell. We'll save that. We'll put that to one side. We'll save that for a minute. We'll start with the most difficult bit, which is why you need this ideally. If you don't have this, so this is a crab picker. So if you don't have this, a long teaspoon. If you don't have a long teaspoon, a normal spoon will be absolutely fine. But we've got it, so we use it. So we'll put all of this to one side. We'll start with the most difficult bit. So inside each socket, there's lots of white meat, and that's the most premium meat we have. So you want to get as much as you can out of the crab, because you want to get as much as you can. It's the best bit. So literally just go scrape really gently, scrape it all out. That way. You've got to be really gentle because you don't want any of this shell and cartilage to be in your meat. It's not nice to eat. It saves time in the long run, so you should be picking through for hours on end. So scraping all of this out. You can see in there, it's quite a big cavity. Just going to get right in there, scraping towards us every time. All of that out. Each socket. And if we've still got the socket in, like this one here, I'll show you how to get that out as well. That's why it's handy to have a teaspoon ready as well, because these can be fairly firm. Just wiggle it. Pop through the membrane, take out of that. You should be able to get it with the front. Just out of that, save all that meat. Keep that to one side. Don't throw anything away other than the dead man's fingers, because everything can be used. We could make a bisque out of it all, make a nice shellfish soup, just adding some simple vegetables, ingredients, a little bit of fish stock. Anything, everything is good other than those gills I was talking about. So see, really working in to get all of that really good white meat out of there. So see, that's one small section done. We've got a lot of meat just from one small bit. So keep going. Show you the yield you can get from one of my crabs. That's pretty much one side, but that's just in the cavity there, so we've got another side just to get done with that. You want to make sure you're really gentle. You might be able to hear there's a couple of times I've bites and cracked a little bit of shell, but it's alright, we can pick that out at the end. Just we don't want to have too much picking to do, we'll be picking all night. get inside those little pockets. When your crab's as good and as fresh as this, you don't always need to take these little sockets off. And you get right in there. So as you can see straight through there. There's all the meat's completely out. Past that, perfectly through. Just work on the next little bit. Get as much as we can out. But anything you do leave behind, if you're using it for a shellfish stock or a shellfish bisque, you've got plenty of flavour in there. Nothing's going to be wasted. So put that to one side for a minute. Move on. So these are the legs. You've got 8 of them. So just easily snap that bit off one side, and then with a blunt object, rolling pin, plastic's best. Literally one tap. You don't want to hit and hit and hit. You just want to shatter it into hopefully 2 bits. Back in with your tool. And all of this lovely white meat straight in there with that. Just do that to all of them. Pull it off the cartilage there. Straight in. One tap. Back again. Just pulling it through. It's the premium meat. All of this white is all such good meat. That was a nice one. It came out with the tidbit. So keep going. Every bit of shell we just keep, especially in the shop. We make our own shellfish bisque. We save every bit of crab shell, every bit of lobster shell for everything. So whether that be we're doing a thermidor, we're doing some imperials. Save everything we can. We just don't want to waste it. It's such good things to be made from something so small. So yeah, so when you're doing this, quite common, your hands will react with the crab meat juices. So you might be getting itchiness on your hands. If you are, just a quick rinse under some cold running water, and then straight back to it. You can also use a bucket of water. Luckily, my hands don't react to it. It's only when I eat it. So quite lucky that I can prep it all day. As soon as I eat it, another story. So. That's from just the legs and inside the cavities of the body of the crab. So it's a good amount of white meat. So we've got 2 fantastic claws to go. So we're just going to take all of this off. We don't want to waste any if we can, but a little bit will be okay. Work all of this off. Right. So I'll break this down into parts. So we've got the claw, and we got the knuckle, luckily that bit came out, and then we got this arm a little bit here. So same again, we just want to hit. We don't want to make too many small pieces, but the bigger the bits, the easier they are to see, so we can easily get it out. So we're just going to scrape that out. There's a bit of cartilage in there as well, but you can see it, so it's easy. If it gets in your mix, you can easily take it out. We want to try and leave as much shell as we can behind. Right in there. So from that bit, from that bit. Still got this nice bit to go, so I'll just pull this off. Nice and simply. If I can. Pull that bit off. And then we're just going to do exactly the same. We're going to cover this with cloth, just because we need a bit of impact. We don't want to spread juices everywhere. We want to try and keep as much concealed as we can. So a little bit more in there. We can just get to now. So see how clean that is now. We've got all of the meat off of there. We've got this wonderful claw. there. Just pull it off if you can. So it's got a beautiful claw. Just one thing is inside here is a bit of cartilage which we want to get out. So pull away. And when you've got a little bit you can hold on to, grab this again, and the great thing is you can just slide it down like that, get all of that meat off. Lovely meat. And exactly the same, so just get in, slide it down, if you can. So exactly the same, just slide that down, taking all that crab meat off. As well. So we've got another claw, exactly the same. So break it apart, try to. Oh, that bit came out perfectly. So there's a couple bits of cartilage in there. Get them out. It's all going to save us time later on in making sure there's none in there. So there's a little bit of meat that we've not got out. Put a scrape in there, get all of that out. So now we have a little bit of difficulty getting that apart, so we're just going to make a little incision right there, and that will mean we can hopefully get it off nice and simply. If not, we'll just crack it on there. That's what we're going to do. And then the claw one, nice swift hit. So we should pull this out. Just like that. And then this little bit here. See, it's just a gentle tap like that, and we've got a nice crack. We haven't shattered it into 10,000 pieces. Just crack the shell, meaning we can get to the meat. We don't want to create a massive job for ourselves. So all of that beautiful meat, straight in. Right, same again, so take off those two bits, and we can see this time, that's where the cartilage is starting. Just going to pull away. We've got exactly the same bit, a nice blade in there. So a crab this size will cost you in store about £22 to £25, but that's good sized crab. It's perfectly enough for 3 to 4 people, in my opinion. Once you've cracked it, and if you do anything with it, especially, or just have it for 2 people, nice evening, just cracking it and then eating it as you've cracked it. Really, there's nothing to stop you eating that as you're picking it. So now we're going to move on to the brown meat, which is nice and simple, and that's what we need a tablespoon for, really. Clear everything out. So there's a little bit of where you see the eyes are here. So this little bit here, if you press down, you'll hear a snap. That little bit there, just press down, and then you can normally pull all of it out in one go, just like that. So just checking there. No, there's no more crab meat in there. So then we've got the shell, which put to one side for a second. We've got this bit here of brown meat. So we pull this out. That all comes out nice and easily, that bit there. And I'll just take this little tiny bit off next to it as well. You could eat this if you want, I just choose not to, just for the colour. But you could by all means eat that. A little tiny bit of membrane, that can come as well. So, brown meat, which is where most of the flavour is, in all honesty. There's more flavour in that small amount of brown meat than there will be in all of that white. but the white looks nicer. So discard that or into your bisque, whichever you fancy. Shove a quick wipe down and I'll show you how we prepare the crab shell for a dressed crab. So now we pick the crab meat, we've got a shell. So you see there's a faint line around here. We very simply push this down. Doesn't matter if you make a mess of the shell, how much we crack it. It's just to get it neatened up. Following that line all the way around, and we just run back of the knife all the way around. All off. Discard everything inside, it's all waste. Well, that will be going into our bisque. Back with the spoon, just scrape it clean, that's what we'll do. Just like that. Scrape it clean. So, we present our meat inside the crab. So we just run your fingers through it gently, and you'll be able to feel if there's any shell or cartilage. But you work quite gentle, so it should be all good. Should be all good with this. As I said, might be a little bit shell, might be a little cartilage, but should be pretty good. As you can see, it's quite a lot of crab meat there. It's from not a massive crab. It was a 1.5 kilo pot crab. At the minute they are beautiful. That crab landed this morning and was with me about 2 hours after it was caught off the boat. So you couldn't get fresher than that, in my opinion, unless you're out fishing yourself. But we're as close as doing that. So that was a little bit of cartilage, just felt on my fingers. We're just going to mash this up a little bit with a spoon, just so it's a nicer texture. I don't really like my brown meat when it's too bitty, so we're just literally going to mix that up a little bit, just to give a bit of a pasty feel. Just like that. And then put that in the middle. So that there would be a large dressed crab in the shop. So we have your white crab meat and your brown crab meat. We've just picked. It's all fresh, beautiful. You can see it's fresh from the colour, so it's really white. It's telling you that it's fresh.